Good evening, Tallahassee, and welcome back to a return to normal around here at FSU weather. It's Wednesday, September 13th, 2017. We got a little bit of a shortened show for you guys here today, only 15 minutes long, as the school is still closed in the wake of Hurricane Irma, which of course left plenty of devastation across the Caribbean islands, Florida, and really the entirety of the southeastern U.S. This of course, intensified to a Category 5 storm with 185-mile-per-hour maximum sustained winds and made two separate landfalls in the state of Florida. One is a Category 4 hurricane near Key West, Florida in Cujo Key, and one has a Category 3 in Marco Island, Florida. We got lucky here. Not really too much in terms of hurricane force winds at all. Our maximum gust was 54 miles per hour here on campus. So before we get back to normal here around here with Dylan, what I wanted to do, of course, is just thank all the city, local, state, and federal officials that conducted a fantastic response to Irma, as the city is essentially back up, fully up and running. So for now, we're going to get back to normal here. Dylan's out of the wall with a local forecast.
Thanks, Jake. One thing to note from Irma, though, we had a record low temperature for the month of September. Irma brought temperature of 65 degrees on Monday, so it was really nice and cool outside. Was the record for September for the entire month in Tallahassee of all time. But the high for today was below average at 82, and our low was below average as well of 66. So we're seeing the nice temperature of Irma kind of stick around for that low and that high, but things are going to start to pick back up later in the week. Currently, though, in Tallahassee, we're seeing 82 degrees. That's our high, with a dew point of 73 degrees and a humidity of 74%. We saw some showers a little earlier today. You'll see in the radar coming up in a little bit. But temperatures around the region, you can see that Thomasville, 75, indicating that there's a shower there. That's why it's the cooler temperature on this map. Wilma at 86, being kind of hot, and Carabel and Apalachicola, 82 and 81 degrees. Now moving into the dew points, you're going to see uniform kind of 70s, mid 70s, Mariana being the only exception at 65. And so what does that dew point mean, right? So we're sitting in the mid-70s. You're looking at kind of an oppressive kind of feeling outside. That dew point indicates the water in the air. So with a higher dew point, the more miserable and more icky sticky it's going to kind of feel outside. Mariana's sitting at moderate with that 60 range. Satellite radar, you can see the showers kind of move off the coast and start and bring in that rain around 3 o'clock today. Got kind of caught in the showers as I made my way over to the studio, but kind of moved out and looking for kind of a nice night moving in. The regional setup, though, you can see the remnant of Irma, now a low, just dissipating. And we had this occluded front kind of just sitting over on top of Tallahassee, kind of what drove the storms with this low pressure over here and brought the storms off the coast, but nothing too intense. If you're going boating tomorrow, since we don't have class for the rest of the week, you're going to see a chance of showers and storms but mostly smooth outside. You're going to see waves 1 feet and winds 10 to 15 knots, so nothing too intense. Tonight, though, you're going to see some showers possible as we move into 7 p.m. We're going to see 79 degrees, but as the night goes on, you're going to see temperatures of 75 and 73, so it's kind of clearing up for a good kind of night if you're going to go out somewhere. Tonight, though, seeing some 30% chance of rains later on. You're going to see 68 is our lowest point for the night, and tomorrow, we're also going to see kind of a warm day, warming things back up to an 87, so very hot indeed. And your 5-day forecast, though, tomorrow, looking at a 20% chance of rain, the low kind of in the 60s, but as we move into the rest of the week, you're going to see that 70% chance of rain on Friday and Saturday, and the rest of the week we're seeing mostly middle of the range, rain chances at 40% and 20%, but still seeing those high temperatures at 80s and 90s. Now let's take it over to Jake with the Southeast.
All right, thanks a lot, Dylan. You got a two-man show today, so you're just going to be seeing the two of us sort of alternating things up. We're going to zoom out a little bit, about as far as we go here with the Southeast. Pretty nice day really across the area, which is a big relief from all the rain and, of course, wind damage that we sustained during Hurricane Irma. Sunny skies in Orlando as well as Miami and right here in Tallahassee as well. Pretty much anywhere you look, you see some sunshine and some cooler temperatures up to the north, as we were talking about earlier with that record cold high on Monday around here. Only 66 degrees up in Huntsville, 73 in Atlanta, 79 over in Jackson. 80s pretty much anywhere else you look, but you're going to see over in Texas that ridging pattern going to be bringing some additional heat into our area. The relative humidities are fairly low as well. Another sign of that ridging is all this dry air out in Texas. At the surface, we've got a little bit of moisture out there, so that's why we're seeing some of these lighter showers, but much drier air at the upper levels is really inhibiting any kind of big-time convective thunderstorms that we're accustomed to seeing at this time of the year. So that's why you're not really seeing too much of an active scene with the radar here. It's just a mostly cloudy day, or partly cloudy around here. And the entire state of Florida has remained fairly dry, although you see some showers moving in through the Everglades right now in these mostly unpopulated areas. So let's look at the remnants of Irma still kind of spinning things up. Not really too much you can see off the coast of Florida, but if you move up to the north just a little bit, you see that stalled out low pressure over the Tennessee Valley, spinning up continued showers across Kentucky up into the Ohio Valley area. So Columbus, that metro area is really getting hit particularly hard. And like we were saying, a lot of dry air at the mid-levels and upper levels behind this front that's just off to our southeast. So that's why you're not really seeing any big-time showers and thunderstorms. Flooding still concerned. We're watching the Santa Fe River over by Gainesville for potential closure of I-75, which is, of course, a big problem for people trying to get back home to South Florida in the wake of the hurricane. Here's our storm reports. We still see flood warnings throughout as rivers and lakes are still rising. About 4 million people still without power in the state, and rip currents are a risk still as these winds begin to die down from Irma. You're not going to be seeing too much rainfall in the future, so let's just jump straight into tonight's forecast here. 63 degrees in Montgomery, 67 here in Tallahassee, and a little bit warm down south still, 79 Miami, 82 over in Key West. And we look at tomorrow's forecast. Rain going to be moving its way back into Florida, into South Florida here. 93 degrees in Orlando with thunderstorms, but sunny skies here in Tallahassee with highs in the 80s. Back over to Dylan now in the lab.
All right, thanks, guys. We're going to take a different kind of look. We're going to look at damage and the impact that Irma had on South Florida. A lot of friends and family that I have down there have sent me videos and pictures throughout the event, and it was really nice of them. So this video on the left is from Key Biscayne, and this video on the right is from Kendall. So this one was sent by Richie, and this one was sent by my friend Bianca. And you can see that kind of rain in the wind tunnel in this one. The sound's not playing, but you can see a lot of that rain in the moving trees and the branches just kind of taking things. Here is I got to scoot back, but this is a picture of Busch Gardens in Tampa. So you can see the flamingos kind of sit there in this place. And this is during Irma. This is during Andrew back in 1992. So the kind of parallel between the two, you see this is Miami Metro Zoo down in Miami. So that's there. Here is Fort Lauderdale Beach. You can see all this sand washed up on shore because of the waves crashing in and bringing all that sediment that was picked up by Irma. And then we're going to scoot over into South Miami. This is a tree that has been broken in half, sent by another friend of mine. That same tree, you can see it's been cut to allow traffic to move around the parts of it. And then moving into Pinecrest, this is sent by my brother. You can see this tree fell into the road, kind of blocking traffic there. And a lot of these damages are being cleaned up right now. And thank you to all the cities that are involved in the speedy recovery of this. These people definitely need it. Here's a boat in Coral Gables that has been washed up on shore by the waves of Irma, and the video is sent along with another friend of the shore, and you can see kind of the damage of the waves crashing down and bringing a lot of seaweed and other sediments onto the docks. But right now, I'm going to send it back to the wall with Jake for a tropics look.
All right, thanks a lot, Dylan. Of course, we've been talking about Irma for the entirety of the show. We still need to keep our eyes out on Hurricane Jose churning out in the open Atlantic waters. Let's start off with the hurricane climatology here for the month of September. We're in the peak of the season, so you see a lot of these African easterly waves that tend to develop, and that's what Irma and Jose are both cause of over here. We were watching a wave out here, but that has since dissipated. So it looks like we're not going to be seeing Tropical Storm Lee anytime soon here. The Gulf of Mexico, Caribbean Sea, also some real hotbeds for tropical cyclone development here. Here's the names so far, and again, the only active one currently is Jose, which reached a peak intensity at Category 4, but is now down to just a Category 1 hurricane with maximum sustained winds at 75 miles per hour. Irma has since lost any tropical characteristics and is now a remnant low, with Katia having moved over Mexico as a Category 2 hurricane a few days back. So here's a look at Jose right now as a Category 1, winds between 74 and 95 miles per hour. That's similar to what Hurricane Hermine was for us last year, as well as Irma in its early stages. Really the worst of what we were getting was Irma as a strong tropical storm with those winds in the 50s, between about 50 and 60 miles per hour. So these things can still cause plenty of damage no matter what kind of category we're talking. But the good news is, with Jose, we're not expecting much in terms of land impacts. It's currently about 500 miles east of the Bahamas right now, so you see pretty much just drifting out here. It's supposed to take this sort of looping pattern over the next couple of days and then eventually move back up north over the open Atlantic. So you're not really seeing too much going on here in terms of any kind of land impacts, especially in the United States, which is definitely a good sign for us here. But for now, we're going to get things back over to the desk where Dylan's standing by.
All right, thank you, Jake. We're going to turn to the power outages that are in Leon County right now. So according to Talkin Electric, as of 5:30, there are only 740 cases of power outages in Leon County, 315 in Gadsden, and 1 in Wakulla and Liberty. So thank you to all these companies for bringing trucks load. I saw pictures of trucks sitting in Georgia waiting to come down south to repair a lot of the electricity for a lot of the folks here at least, and farther down in South Florida. My parents are still both without electricity down in South Florida. My mom in South Miami and my dad in Pinecrest still without power. But my grandmother, who is fortunately at a nursing home, did get back power earlier yesterday. So a lot of these powers are coming back. I have friends who have gotten power too. So things are just kind of looking up, and thank you to all the governments and all the people really working hard out there to restore power for all these people. But right now, I'm going to send it back to Jake for a last local look.
All right, thank you, Dylan. We're almost wrapped up here. We just kind of have one more pretty detailed look at your local forecast to see what to expect over the next 7 days. Currently in Tallahassee, we're sitting at 82 degrees, mostly cloudy skies. We had a couple showers move through the area earlier in the afternoon, but those have since dissipated, and you're going to see a fairly quiet night ahead, although we still can't rule out the possibility of a stray shower or two. A lot of low-level moisture, which is why we've been seeing the cloudier skies and those scattered showers with a dew point of 73 degrees and those winds coming out of the south-southeast really bringing that moisture into our area in the first place. So where you see the lower temperatures like 75 in Thomasville, 81 in Quincy, that's where some of the showers have more frequently fallen, but areas like Wilma and Mariana up in the mid-80s haven't seen any of that today. They've gotten lucky and dodged all that rainfall that, of course, we aren't exactly wanting to see out here in the wake of the hurricane up north here. The dew points, Mariana being the low spot at 65, sort of the anomaly. Otherwise, southerly flow keeping those pretty high across the area. 73 degrees here in Tallahassee, 74 in Monticello, and 75 down by the coast in Carabel. And here's that dew point scale one more time. So pretty uncomfortable day there, even in that oppressive range, 70 to 79 degrees on those dew points. So not exactly ideal if you're doing any kind of outdoor activities, but of course, if you bring out the sunscreen, stay hydrated, we can always work with it because we're used to it around these parts. Here's the satellite and radar. The only shower really at this point is what cooled down Thomasville to those mid-70s, now moving over towards northern Lowndes County and up towards I-75 here, but otherwise pretty quiet scene, and that's going to be the case really as we go through the remainder of the night around here. Again, nothing really impacting our immediate area except for these rip current statements down along the Apalachicola, Alligator Point areas up towards Panama City. The flooding is what we're really concerned about here, and again, this area right here, the Santa Fe River, that's our big problem here for people trying to go back down south after Irma, because this has been rising as high as 15 feet above its normal levels here, and that could be flooding Interstate 75, which would lead to immediate closures, a big problem there. Here's the futurecast winds and temperatures showing a pretty stagnant pattern here. We're going to see some southerly flow working its way back into our area tomorrow afternoon, which is giving us a slight chance to see some shower activity, although nothing really crazy. Friday, the same sort of pattern, and those rain chances are really going to start to increase late in the day here. And really the same kind of thing on Saturday before a ridging pattern works its way in for the weekend. For tonight, 68 degrees. We got a chance of some early showers here, but nothing really too crazy. 69 in St. Mark's, 67 degrees in Thomasville. And for tomorrow, mid to upper 80s begin to return. A slight chance to see some showers and maybe an isolated thunderstorm later on. 87 degrees is going to be your high in Perry and 83 over in Carabel. We're going to plan out your night. Again, going to be cooling down into those lower 70s with showers possible here early on, but again, clearing up for a mostly clear night overnight. And for the week ahead, Friday and Saturday looking like our ugly days, but once we get past Sunday and the chance of some scattered thunderstorms, things are going to be looking a lot better for the early part of next week as we finally begin to make our return towards football here in Tallahassee.
Yeah, it's great to have a football game coming next weekend. I'm kind of missing out this weekend and last, so.
Yeah, of course. Our thoughts are with everybody down in Miami, the University of Miami team. Still, the campus has been ruled unsafe to really travel to, so. Yeah. They're going to be stuck down there for a little bit, which is why we're not going to be playing this game this weekend. Right. That game has been rescheduled for October 7th.
Right, yeah, that's going to be a great game. It might be cooler temperatures, though, moving that game later into October, so that might be good for us.
Yeah, for sure. We have this bit of stagnant ridging pattern around here for the next couple of weeks, so we're not going to be seeing the cool temperatures in time for NC State. In fact, we've been seeing some numbers as high as the lower 90s for potential highs, but we're hoping that the cooler temperatures arrive just in time for that, and once we get into cold front season in October.
It'll be a good time and it'll feel great. But I'm student meteorologist Dylan Leith.
And I'm meteorologist Jay Carsons. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow night.
Thanks. Have a good night.